The Senate has approved amendments to 3 pieces of legislation that will impose more severe penalties for murder, especially in cases involving children. It seeks to increase the mandatory minimum penalties specified for murder, to increase the minimum periods that must be served before an offender is eligible for parole, and to adjust the term of life imprisonment to 50 years where the offense is murder. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Senator Kamina Johnson Smith, who piloted the bills, explained the rationale behind the move.
In the Jamaican context, the key purpose of sentencing, or the key purposes, are deterrence, rehabilitation, denunciation, incapacitation, and restoration. The imposition of mandatory minimum sentences, Mr. President, are intended to send the strong signal I spoke about earlier, that society will not tolerate certain forms of criminal behavior. So as stated, there is an increasing demand from victims and interested parties in support of the imposition of harsher penalties, many of whom feel that justice has not been served for them on previous occasions. So there is a need for an enhanced alignment between the sentencing regimes governing serious crimes in Jamaica and the expectations of the public and the outcomes from the justice system.
Now, the amendments also seek to increase the mandatory minimum sentence with respect to non-capital murder from 15 years to 30 years, increase the mandatory minimum sentence for capital murder from 20 years to 50 years before eligibility for parole, increase the sentence to be served before being eligible for parole where the sentence is imprisonment for life from 15 years to 40 years, and increase the sentence to be served before being eligible for parole where a sentence of term of years is given from 10 years to 20 years. Senator Johnson Smith also explained how the amendments relate when the victim of a non-capital murder is a child.
Where the court imposes a sentence of life or a sentence of term of years, once the victim of the non-capital murder is a child, they must add another 5 years to the period that must be served before the period of eligibility. And I think we all feel quite clear that when some of these murders that we have heard of, these heinous murders of beautiful little children, that asking the court to add another 5 years behind bars, another 5 years to separate these brutal killers, up to 5 years, because we have to remain on the right side of the constitutional challenges, and we've been guided. I will share that personally. I thought it should have been more, but I do acknowledge, I did say it should have been more. And if the Senate wishes to so propose an amendment, the leader of government business would certainly consider it.